2, 1, go. Hey everybody, welcome to the Whiskey Dictionary. I am so happy that you guys have all been enjoying this full day of whiskey related channels and just in general, probably a lot of debauchery. So first off, I'd like to thank Aquavite for helping set this all up. He's awesome. You know, he actually did a ton of work. I'm sure that you've all heard this over the course of the day. I know I've been in the chat with most of you for a good portion of the day. Actually, as early as this morning with Eric Waite's first video there, for those that weren't in the chat, I was literally outside weed whacking and mowing my lawn with him on my phone going through my Bluetooth, and I was like listening to him making this bourbon cornbread. And of course, you know, I'm out there doing yard work, getting hungry, listening to him making something that sounds delicious that includes my favorite beverage. So let me talk to you guys about what I've got going on here, because it is not an Ardbeg flight. And I wanted to do something a little bit more glorious, a little bit more grandiose, if you will. So this is what I've done. I have got pretty much every single region that makes a commercially available, just, you know, worldwide whiskey. I've got Japan, Ireland, Indian. I've got regular Scotch. I also went Islay just because. I've got Canadian, bourbon, and a rye. So I didn't do American, just general American spirits, because I figured that between the bourbon and the rye, I've got America covered. So this is, oh, and one last little special thing. Now, I didn't want to ruin the surprise, so I put it in a decanter. But at the end, I will absolutely tell you what that is, and I think you'll all enjoy it. So let's see what we got going on in the chat here, and then I'm going to get into this because I've only got an hour, and I've got a lot to get through here. So first off, let's see. We've got a lot of names I've been seeing all day long. We got Go Habs, we got Whiskey Throttle, Bronco Rog. That's a little weird to say. Food Quag. Let's see. It's quite an international lineup. Turn mic up really quiet. All right. Thank you for the warning. I will do that. Oh, you know what? I always kind of turn it down by default. That way it's not super loud. There we go. So that should be a lot better. Sorry about that, guys. So, all right. Let me outside cleaning up beehive frames while listening to Roy. I don't even want to. That sounds awful. Hopefully you didn't get stung. All right. So I'm going to leave this up to you guys. Should I start from the right or the left? I'm going to go stage right, you know. So start with the rye, start with the Japanese. I'm kind of leaning towards the Japanese, only because it's lighter, but this is 100% up to you guys. Whoever answers first gets it. Let's see. Amazed our mates from UK and Germany are still hanging in there. Let's see. How does Japanese whiskey compare to... All right. So you guys are saying left. This is my left. So, all right, let's start off with the Japanese. Now, this is Suntory Whiskey Toki, and I actually went out and bought it today. When I realized I wanted to do this, I actually went out and I bought the Japanese whiskey because I realized I had no Japanese whiskey in my cabinet. I also went out and bought this new 40 Creek. It's not new to 40 Creek, but it's new to me. As well, because I had no Canadian whiskeys other than a nip of Crown Royal, and it just didn't seem like that would be as much fun. All right. Let's see. The sun rises on Japan first. Love it. So I don't really know. I'm not going to pretend that I do. I don't really know a lot about most of these. In fact, oddly enough, I've only done a review on these two right here. Everything else I haven't done reviews on. And this one hasn't even come out yet. This is going to come out on next Friday, the 25th. This is that whole whiskey of the month thing that I'm trying to do, where I think like on the first of the month, I'm like, hey, this is the one I'm going to be drinking at the end of the month. It's going to be a good bottle. You should get it and drink with me. So, how many of you guys, just by show of hands here, are going to be drinking the Knob Creek with me next Friday? All right, so let's see. Good to see you. Short for Roger. How many people we got in the chat, by the way? I'm curious. We got 67, looks like, maybe a little bit more. That's pretty nice. Hopefully we can get a few more people. I mean, 67 is a great number, but you guys know I like to go bigger, you know. I guess I don't really go home already here. All right, let's get into this guy. I have kept you all waiting too long, and you're all a lot of drams ahead of me because I have had a margarita today. That was it. But you know, World Whiskey Day. Tequila's kind of like Mexico's whiskey. All right, so cheers to all of you and happy World Whiskey Day. Fun fact, I've actually never had this before. But that's surprisingly good. I think that's about 35 bucks too. So, I mean, I have yet to really try anything. No, I didn't break out the wheel. I thought about that, but I wanted to do something a little bit more concise or defined, premeditated, if you will. Anyway, so I think this is about 35 bucks. I have yet to try any Japanese whiskey that I didn't just like off the bat. I find that they all have a delicacy to them, like where it's kind of soft, it's got a good flavor, and you don't really ever get too much bite, at least not in the ones that I've had. I will be doing a beginner guide to Japanese whiskey, similar to all of the other types of whiskeys that I've done. I've begun writing one for rye, actually, and some of you that follow the subscription feed probably saw that in the community tab, I think, last week. So that video is going to be coming out fairly soon. Japanese one's going to follow probably in maybe like the middle of the summer. I might actually make one of the months, either June, July, somewhere in there, all about, it won't be June, either July or August, all about Japanese whiskey, the way I did March with Irish. So let's see. I did pour a small amount into each one of these because no matter how you look at it, it's still 8 drams. All right, it's still 8 drinks. So, and I've got an hour to do so. Anyway, let me keep going with this guy. So I'm not going to give my normal like nosing and tasting because, as I said, I really haven't had any opportunity to do any research on these. And, you know, I could give you my initial impressions, but generally I would hate to contradict myself during an episode, and doing it on a live stream at 10 o'clock at night, probably not the best time to get all of the little nuances. That being said, I will absolutely say that I get some like white grape out of this, which I think is cool. That's a rare one to get. Usually it's more just like extreme, you know, I call it light fruit, right? So something very, I don't know, just, yeah, very light and fruity. So let's move on to Irish. All right. By the way, I did have to dig out extra glasses because apparently I've given away a lot of my Glencairns to friends lately who have been getting into whiskey. And I looked, I used to have like 14 Glencairns. I think I have like 8 now. I think I've only broken about 1. So, all right, let's see what's going on in the chat. Swami, excellent live stream. I actually really enjoyed that. I couldn't stay for the whole thing, obviously, because I had to get myself set up. But I think I was around for the first like 20 minutes and then the last 15 minutes or so. So pretty fun. Watching that, so good job. Let's see. Pick up some caramel M&Ms, Quig. Man, you guys are chatting it up today. I love it. Love it. This is a really fun day. I've had a really good time. I hope all of you have too. All right, so let's talk about Glendalough. Glendalough, this is actually a Glendalough glass. You know, it's nothing special. It's just a tumbler, or rocks glass, whatever you want to call it, same thing. But hey, thanks, Malted. Appreciate it, buddy. I tried real hard to win that T-shirt of yours. I might have to join your Patreon again, or Patreon again. Maybe try to get myself one of your shirts. They sounded very very. What did you say? They're 100% cotton and fitted because they make you look sexy, right? Yeah. Speaking of which, I'm rocking my mine today. Let me show you my whiskey dick here. Showing off the whiskey dick. All right, so let's go Glendalough. So this is the Irish whiskey. This is the Glendalough 7, also known as the only one of the... did I have 2 or did I have 3? I think I had 2. Yeah, I haven't bought the 13 yet. So I gave away the double barrel because personally I didn't really love it. But I kept the 7 because I did kind of like it. So let's go ahead and get into this one. Oh, geez, I almost committed a sacrilege here. Cheers. This one's to you, Eric Waite, for kicking everything off. Cheers. Yeah, did you like the Glendalough 13? Oh, the Mizunara. Yeah, I saw that the other day. I almost picked it up, but it was, I forget how much it was, but it was expensive. What does the wife say about my whiskey dick? She says, well, Never mind. I was gonna make a joke, but it occurs to me that I know people who watch this, and I'm not going to embarrass my wife. Let's just say that she. Let's not say anything. You're a jerk. All right. So, Glendale Lock is down. We are 10 minutes in. I've probably spent about 5 minutes talking and about 5 minutes drinking. So let's see what else we got going on. We got Santa Cruzans here. Thank you, Santa. I'm glad you're here. No, she's definitely not watching, but I also don't. I don't know. I'm not much for talking about family on here. Did Eric wake up from his nap with Swami? Yeah. All right. So go Habs. Oh, William Brooks. Hey, man. I appreciate that. That's awesome. Actually, funny enough, that gets me almost halfway to what I paid for them. Like I said, this one was about 30 and this one was, I think, 23. So that's almost halfway. I really appreciate that, William. And between you and Swami, I am at half. So that's great. All right. So, William, tell me something. First off, you and I share a name, so we're already both awesome. What is your favorite whiskey that you saw represented on the Whiskey Tube community for Whiskey Day today? Which was your, which stream have you enjoyed? And who drank what that you really liked? While you're answering, I'm going to get into the Paul John. Now, some of you who have been watching my channel for quite a while, somewhere around like maybe 5,000 or 6,000 subs, so about half as many as I've got right now, I did a live stream on this Paul John when I first got it. One of my viewers sent me a bottle of it and said, hey, you know, I just kind of want to get your opinion of this. And so, you know, I did a little bit and I've been meaning to do a formal episode on it, but the problem is and it's not a real problem, but I like to try to be thorough when I'm doing my videos and try to do the description of the distilleries and everything. And I will say some of the cool stuff about Indian whiskey is excuse me, I'm going to hold that off until I actually do the formal review, but the way that they have to age their whiskey out there is pretty cool because it's just so hot, right? So anyway, the Paul John Brilliance, I'm a pretty big fan of, or at least was the last time I tried it. It's been a couple months though. So let's get into this one. And both William and Swami, this one goes out to you for giving me the super chat. So cheers to you. Yep, still like it. It does have a little bit of a burn, just a very small amount, but it was unexpected. Yeah, it's 46%, so that makes a little sense. It's funny when you're expecting something to be 40 and then it's 46, like just that little bit. If you're not expecting it, it can hit you off guard. Let's see what's going on in the chat here. Whiskey Scout. Let's see. I've covered up all the Paul John whiskeys, so you need any help, let me know. Jason Whiskey Wise, thanks. Yeah, I've been really tempted to just like really dive into that such a swirler. Yeah, I know. I forget who it was. Who was on Scotch Test Dummies show? That guy was friggin' about to create a tornado in his glass. He was like, but it was still an entertaining show. But I just kept watching that and being like, oh, he's a little nervous. Anyway, all right. So while I'm drinking this, I have. Well, Ralphie says to do a lot of things, and I'm sure he's right. But you know, it's fine. I tend to swirl. I mean, it's not a nerves thing, but it's a, like, I'm talking and need something to do with my hands. So that's pretty much all it is. Call it a bad habit I've developed while live streaming. All right. So I have 5 questions and I don't know what one yet. I'm going to pick one just for fun to do a giveaway. I'm not sure whether I'm going to do a custom Glencairn glass or a t-shirt. They're both honestly about the same cost to me. So let's just say whoever wins, you get your choice. Either you get a Whiskey Dick Glencairn, similar to this with a little engraving of Whiskey Dick, or you can have a Whiskey Dick t-shirt. So either way, this first question is not for that. It's just for fun. So what country is believed to have first distilled whiskey? Should be a pretty easy question. Let me see. I'm going to actually increase the size of this chat just a little bit so I can see it a little better. All right. So while you're doing that, I'm going to drink my Paul John. Good evening. Man, you guys are pretty far behind me as far as the chat goes. So we've got Peru, Scotland, so far. All right, and then Scobble is the one to get it correct. So Ireland was the first believed to have distilled whiskey. So good job. I'm going to just call you Scobble and assume that's right. All right, let's see. I think the STD, the guest was trying to do the quig. Oh, was he really? Okay, that makes sense. Now there's when you refer to something as doing a quig, that actually can mean a couple different things. Either it can be the anaconda swirl that he does, which is pretty impressive. I actually can't do it. Or it means just going and taking a leak while you're in a live stream. Then again, the dude does like 4 or 5 hour live streams, so I can't really blame him. All right. That is a tasty whiskey. Definitely different. Indian whiskeys are another one. It's almost like the first time that you tried a Japanese whiskey and you're like, oh, this is just a different kind of whiskey. You know, Indian actually kind of pulls that off too. At least the very, very little experience I have it. I know, you know, there's several different Indian whiskeys, but I haven't gotten into many of them yet. So I need a little bit more experience before I can say that for sure. All right. So my next drink is Glenlivet 12. Only because there were very few scotches that I wanted to put on here. Most of my scotch is actually fairly expensive, and oh, duh, I already have poured it. Most of my scotch is fairly expensive, and although that's fine, I figured that it would be kind of a waste to do, you know, 3 or 4 in a row and then drink an expensive whiskey. So I went kind of with the tried and true Glenlivet 12. Now this one I'm going to dedicate to Go Habs, and because of Go Habs and his affinity for this item, I am going to drink this dram wearing a power glove. Because Go Habs calls for it more often than I can count, and deserves it because he is a loyal viewer. So Go Habs, this one's to you. And hold on, hold on. Beep, boop, beep, boop, beep. Please tell me he's still in here. I don't even see him chatting at all. Sorry, I'm just looking through it. John Belushi, right you are. Sorry. There's somebody named John Belushi in here. That's fantastic. Is there a way to humble brag that you have rain for once? I don't know what you're talking about, but Luke Skywalker attached. Arm attached. Should be complete. Go Habs has got to be here, right? Yeah, there he is. All right, good. Love the power glove. It's so bad. I love the power glove. It's so bad. All right. So Glenlivet 12. Here we go. Cheers to you, Go Habs. And you know what? Nah, just to you, Go Habs. It is just a tried and true. I mean, this is exactly what we all know it tastes like. It's good, you know. If I were to rate this, like, it would absolutely be a buy it, but it's not something that you're gonna like be over the moon about. At least not me. I mean, the 12 is it's just good, but it's good in the way that, like, what would you say? Like, well, most of you don't like Maker's Mark. I'm trying to think of a good thing to equate it. It's good the way that, like, Glenfiddich 12 is good. You know, it's good. It's just there, you know? So, anyway. Let's see. Power glove, fleshlight, and a rabbit. It's on. I don't even know how to take that, John. But John Belushi, do you want me to go get a bottle of Jack, chug it right on live chat here? All right, so I'm doing really good for time. I'm only 20 minutes are down. What was the glove thing? What was the glove think about the whiskey? I'm not really sure what you're talking about, Barry. All I know is maybe you missed the live stream, but there was some live stream where I think Go Habs basically said something like, do you have a power glove? You should put it on. And I was just like, I actually do, because I'm 35 and have had my Nintendo since I was like 3, and I think I got this a couple years after. But yeah, no, I mean, all my stuff, I've still got it all. Anyway, that being said, for those of you who have never used this, it sucks. It totally doesn't really work. You basically just go like this to hit A and this to hit B. And then you can use the directional pad here to move around. It's really stupid. All right, I'm going to take this off. So, go Habs. I hope you enjoyed that. So, who is getting the next cheers here? I know. All right, so this one is the McClellan Isla, or Islay. I always kind of screw that up. I always mean to say Islay. Somebody once told me it was Isla, and that like stuck too much, you know? So anyway, Islay. I'm just going to call it that island off the coast. So I've got a Lafroig glass, so I hope that they don't mind. But looks a little dirty, actually. Oh, well. So let me tell you about this glass, because this is obviously kind of neat. So I was at a whiskey tasting at Julio's Liquors, and they had Maker's Mark there, and they were dipping people's Glencairns into wax, which was pretty awesome. And the line to get that done was basically like, I think almost everybody at the whiskey tasting was there, and there must have been like 600 people there at some point or another. And I think that they did almost everybody's whiskey glass. So it was a pretty cool thing. Either way, like I said, I was digging around for glasses. So this is the one I'm doing today. All right, so McClellan is a pretty low-end Islay. But yeah, Isla. Okay. See, like even people in the chat, they don't really agree on necessarily what it's supposed to be. So I'm going to go Isla because I think it's Isla. And that's what I've heard from more people than not. So I'm just going to go Isla. The McClellan's Isla was the worst whiskey I've had. Yeah, admittedly, I bought this quite a while ago. I think even if at one point it was okay, it's aged to the point in the bottle that it might actually be a decent, what would you call it? Example of what Scott and Bart are trying to do over on their channel, Scotch Test Dummies, to age their whiskey and see how it gets affected. Okay, perfect. That's good. So I was actually saying it right, and then I doubted myself. Okay, so Isla. Fantastic. Anyway, so McClellan. So let's see. What do we do? Let's go cheers to all of the rest of the whiskey tubers who have put on a hell of a show for today. And there's actually a few more to go. Whiskey in the Six is actually on after me today. And he should be putting on a good show. He usually does. So this one's to all of you whiskey tubers that we banter between each other all the time. We have a fun time in chat, and in general, we're improving the whiskey community. So cheers to all you guys. In hindsight, I probably could have done that with a slightly better whiskey, but you know what? Screw it. The worst whiskey I probably have up here is the one I'm going for that with. 12,000 dummies. That's a good way to hide the McClellan. Yeah, right. So the good news about doing this many whiskeys in an hour is that I'm hoping I can outpace the buzz. So at the moment, I'm still not really feeling much of anything. That being said, I've had a very small amount of each one of these, but I will probably be having quite a bit of this guy. So there's not much left in there actually now that I look, but we'll make it work. Not as bad as I expected it to be. Certainly not great, but it's really not that bad. Now, what is the deal with this? I'm actually curious. I haven't read the back of this bottle in a while. Okay. Yeah, no, it's basically just nothing. Okay, let's move on to this guy. Now, this I'm actually a little bit excited about because 40 Creek, I believe, was my sixth, or it was either my fourth or my sixth episode. And kind of just jumped right into the Canadian, but I didn't really do that many Canadians since then. Jason Whiskey West, cheers. Bill, did you have the Glencairn at Maker's Mark? No, I didn't have it at Maker's Mark. It was from a whiskey tasting. So I'm guessing it's Booker's on the Globe. You can guess that. Doesn't necessarily mean it's right. That being said, you guys know what it takes to get the Bookers busted out. All right, so let's go into this 40 Creek. What is this, Copper Pot? Something like that? Which totally reminds me of the Goonies, Chester Copper Pot. But, all right, let's see how this goes. Let me nose it for a minute. Oof, that's a little rough. Not surprising. I think it was $23, maybe 25. So I'm curious what you guys think is in the globe. Go ahead and just throw your guesses randomly in the chat, because I'm interested. Like, you guys kind of have gotten to know me over the course of, I looked today, I've done 108 videos. Doesn't mean they're all reviews. I think I just hit my 60th review, but I've done live streams, I've done random videos, I've done a bunch of stuff. There's only like maybe 3 videos that are private, so those count, but I've done well over 100 videos, and for the style of reviews that I'm trying to do, where it's not like 2 or 3 a week, that's a few years, or a couple of years at least. It's only this year and most of last year that I have started doing 1 per week. I think it was like August even of last year that I just started kind of going into 1 per week. All right, so before I have a sip of this, while I'm enjoying this, I'm going to ask another question for you guys. Which grain is the basis of single malt Scotch? All right, and I'm going to sip this while you guys ponder that question. Ooh, wow. Yeah. You know, that tastes so fake. I don't know. I'm gonna be eager to dive into this. I know 40 Creek, the first one that I did. Hold on, let me just read this. 40 Creek Copper Pot Whiskey is made by renowned whiskey maker John Hall. Using a selection of rye, corn, and barley grains, Hall distills each grain separately, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. I mean, clearly it's not gonna say anything about fake flavor, but you don't get a whole lot of the maple that this has coming across without fake flavor. So I don't know. I'm gonna dig into this one a little bit before I do a formal review on it to make sure I'm not just totally speaking out of my ass. Maybe he did find a way to make it taste this mapley, in which case I'll be a lot more impressed. But it tastes awful fake. So. All right, so let's see. We've got a whole lot of answers coming through. All right. Yeah, Peter White, I know. I keep hearing that. You know, people tell me that there's not very many Canadian whiskeys available outside of the outside of Canada that are good. Which, man, like, come on, that sucks. If they're so good up there, then, you know, and people have given me some suggestions, and I can kind of go find those suggestions in the future, but either way. All right. So, barley. Yeah, it seems like you guys know your stuff. That's good. Excellent. 40 Creek is good for the price. You know, I got to say, just on first impressions, the 40 Creek Select Reserve, is that what it's called? Or Reserve, or 40 Creek Reserve? The normal one, like the vanilla one. As in plain vanilla, is better than this, just on first impressions. Woodford Reserve, that's a good guess. I know it is a weird one. I'll give you guys a hint. It is a blend. So like I said, I didn't want to waste any of my single malts on it. You know, certainly I'm planning on having that one last. So it's a blend of some sort. Well, probably not going to miss that one when it's gone. That might be one I pawn off on one of my friends. So I've gathered quite the following of people who are happy to take my extra bottles, which is good because I don't really have a ton of room in my liquor cabinet. But that being said, like, I don't necessarily want to give away all of my good bottles either. So like something like what do you call it? Bushmills just original, or that Red Bush, like I'll probably give those away. But like I'm not going to give away the Bullet barrel strength because that stuff's really good, you know. So anyway, let's see what else we got. Ardbeg Grooves is worth more than the whole setup. Yeah, that's true. So speaking of which, I'm going to be doing Johnny Walker Red. That is a good guess. That's a good guess. Interesting. I do like all the Johnny Walker guesses. Send the copper pot back to Canada. Send it to me. Really? Do you like it, Foodquig? I'm curious because first off, shipping anything over those that country, you know, national line isn't gonna end well. But anyway, all right. So Drammer Compass Box, no name. Interesting. I like seeing the guesses that you guys have. Whiskey Sneerson. Dude. All right, so now the whiskeys are just starting to hit. I'm starting to get a little more fun. All right, so I'm moving into the Knob Creek next. This is a Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. You're all very familiar with it, I'm sure. Small batch, 100 proof. So I'm glad that I started over there because there's no way I could have drank the Redemption and then the Knob Creek and then appreciated this guy. I was actually like really surprisingly impressed. Like, it's not blowing my socks off, but this is a really cheap bottle of whiskey, and it's pretty good, especially for coming all the way from Japan. All right, so let me throw another question out there. Another Kretchy. So what was the most popular type of whiskey in America prior to Prohibition? And I've already decided my next question. Actually, no. The last question I ask, I have 5 questions, and I'll point it out. The last question I ask will be the one that I do the giveaway on, because I'm interested more than anything to know what you all think. All right, so this one, it could be tea. Yeah, I don't know. It's about the right color. Let's see. Yep, put that up. I like to use my head as the background because it's pretty white. Because as my one of my coworkers tells me all the time, I am the whitest person that he knows. And he doesn't necessarily just mean the color of my skin. Yeah. All right, so we got rye, Canadian rye, blended rye, Irish. So it seems like a good amount of variety here. Although rye is the answer. So Ryan Kelly, Kelly, you got that one right. Good job. You were the first one. Santa Cruzan, Barry, Irish. I'm surprised. I occasionally think that you know a lot more about whiskey than I do, Barry, and you probably still do. So I should probably stop calling you out. Richie Z, greetings. Nice to see you. Did I hear cheap whiskey? Cherry Bounce. Is that a person in here? I don't know what you're talking about. I want a Whiskey Dick t-shirt. Well, you can buy them, Crackers, if you really want. They're not even that expensive, honestly. I kept the price super low. So like those of you that don't know, when you do t-shirt sales, right? So usually you can charge whatever you'd like for a t-shirt. So they'll give you a default value. It's like a custom print t-shirt, maybe costs like $17, right? And then you can charge your viewership, let's say a fair price would be like $24 for a custom printed t-shirt to support a YouTuber or whatever. That's pretty standard, I think. I think I have mine at like 22, which basically like, after they take their cut, I think I make like $2 on a t-shirt. And, I don't sell a whole lot of them, but in my mind, I also just kind of like, I would rather have people buy them and wear them and enjoy them and whatever, rather than make an extra few dollars off of it. That being said, some of the other stuff like a hoodie or whatever, like that makes a little bit more sense to have more money on just because they are a nicer product and everything. So anyway, I will say that this t-shirt is actually really nice. I've watched this more than a few times and it's still like as black as it ever was. So that's usually a pretty good sign. All right. So what am I drinking? The Knob Creek. I still haven't had a sip of this yet, huh? All right. So let's see who's getting the cheers this time. Let's see. Silence. All right. I'm going to give a shout out to Whiskey in the Six, who's going to be following me up because he's going on at like 11 o'clock at night, and that's got to be tough. So cheers to you, Whiskey in the Six. Although you shouldn't have shaved the beard. That was your trademark. Man, Knob Creek is good stuff. This is just such a solid dram. Well, I can't call it a dram. That was like a half a dram. Not even what I poured. Anyway. All right. So I'm going to ask another question. See, I'm on the fence here. Okay. All right. So this is not the giveaway question, but I'm just curious to know. So in America, is a spirit made out of rice considered whiskey? That's the question. Crackers on the river. Sounds pretty fun. Send me an email, Crackers. thewhiskeydick@gmail.com. We'll talk. Night, Basement Drammer. Nice to see you. All right, so answers are starting to roll in. So we got Geronimus Broder says yes. Roster says no. Whiskey Biker says no. Connor says yes. Shannon says yes. Foodquig says no, no, no. Yes, I think so. It's a grain, sure, not by me. So this is interesting. So I did not know the answer to this either. However, I was reached out to by a company that I think they're in California. Doesn't really matter. Either way, they're going to end up being one of those like Wednesday small distillery highlight kind of things. So they reached out to me. They've got a Japanese whiskey, and they, when they mentioned that it was made out of rice, I said BS, right? Like that's totally not a cereal grain. So before I called them out on it, because like I have one rule, and it's that it has to actually be whiskey. So that's why you don't see me doing, excuse me, why you don't see me doing like flavored whiskeys and stuff on here. Because as soon as you add that fake flavor, depending on where you are, it's not a whiskey anymore. So unless I want to do it for like a joke, you probably won't ever see me do like Fireball whiskey or anything like that. So anyway, I went and I looked at the actual legalese about what makes a whiskey. And believe it or not, in America, rice is considered a cereal grain. So making whiskey out of rice is totally legit. Just nobody does it. And it's very odd to me. Anyway, so I thought that for one of the very few times I could actually teach you guys something. So it's interesting to see how many people got that wrong, though. It seems like, like I said, I probably would have said no. So anyway, interesting. Now you're all a little bit more informed. Go look it up yourselves if you don't believe me. All right, so it's 10:37 in Japan. Oh yeah, so even better is that in Japan, is it Japan? Actually, so I can't say this for sure. Most countries do not consider rice a cereal grain, and I'm fairly certain that Japan does not either. Like they definitely consider it a grain, but they will not consider a rice whiskey an actual whiskey. Very strange, right? Maybe that has something to do with that whole like Japanese learned how to make whiskey from the Scots, who have notoriously hard like restrictions on what actually is a whiskey or not. But it's all speculation. All right, so here's another big boy. This is the Redemption Rye. So I have never tried this before, at least not to my knowledge. I may have had it at a bar, but I'm not sure. So this is 92 proof. This is batch number 251. So I got this last week along with two other Redemption bottles. One that's like a high wheat, and then a bourbon. So I've never tried this, but I'm excited to have the rye. So I've done the Japanese, the Irish, the Indian, regular Scotch, Islay. We got Canadian, we got bourbon, and now I'm going to rye. So let's see. What do we got? Rice Krispie treats. Yes, I detect a hint of snap, crackle, possibly pop. Yes, definitely pop. Thanks, Santa Cruzin. Appreciate it, buddy. All right, so let's see. Depends on what country. Yeah, I know. So weird, huh? What was the Japanese rice whiskey? You know what? Actually, all right, give me 10 seconds. I'll tell you exactly what it is. Because, I'm sure that they'd love the publicity. Like I said, they're a small group. So fairly new on shore. That is totally not my right email address. Hold on. So we've got, almost said her name out loud, probably shouldn't. It is Kikor, Kikor, looks like. Yeah. So anyway, Kikor. I'm not quite sure how to say it. It looks like Kikor. I'm going to obviously have to do my research on that one. I talked to her on the phone the other day, and very nice lady. Her name was Anne. And she, kind of has a lot to do with making the whiskey. So, Actually, she might have been the marketer. I don't know. Like I said, I gotta do my research, and this is why I typically don't talk about stuff I haven't fully researched. I don't like to sound dumb. Not in my blood, but oh well. All right, so redemption. This one, Santa, since you gave a super chat, you earned the last one, although this guy's going to be the last one. So Santa, this one's to you. You've been a fan forever and always a very, very good supporter of my channel. So cheers to you, buddy. Wow. That has a lot going on to it. Wow. Wow, that's interesting. Have the rest of you guys had Redemption Rye before? I know it's a pretty popular name. I've just never really had the opportunity. It doesn't taste like a rye the way that you normally have like that spice burn to it. Having trouble actually kind of placing this. Avoid Fujikai 10. I think it's also rice and it's vile. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I probably won't remember that. And I don't steer clear of whiskeys that are vile. It's kind of more fun sometimes. I just prefer not to have them all the time. I think I've mentioned this before, but there was this one, and I'll get back into this in a minute, but there was this one whiskey I tried at this most recent whiskey tasting, and it was called Mad River Whiskey. And boy, was this stuff bad. So there was this older lady, and she was at the whiskey tasting, and she was the one giving out drams. And I tried it. I told her who I was, and we kind of talked for a minute. That was kind of what I was doing there. I was networking, and so I told her who I was and what I do, and she's like, "Oh, all right, here, try this." And I tried it, and I thanked her for her time, and I turned around, and boy, did I make I almost made like a tequila face, just like, oh. So I hope that wasn't as horrendous as I think it was, that face. But yeah, it was pretty bad. And the other two people I was drinking with at that particular moment, they felt the same way. And I was just like, man, that poor company, like they have no idea that they have such a terrible product. Maybe I should tell them, but I didn't want to be a dick either. I think their sales will probably tell them. Redemption. Where is redemption from? That's a great question. Let's see if it tells us on the bottle. Oh, that's funny. I totally didn't plan this, but first line is rye whiskey was once the preferred spirit in the U.S. Prohibition changed. Wait, I'm going to read this verbatim. I think they made kind of like a weird, all right. Rye whiskey was once the preferred spirit in the U.S. Prohibition. Oh, they're using the U.S. has U.S. right? It's just a period. So anyway, that's just reads odd. Prohibition changed that, and the rye was nearly forgotten. Redemption is bringing back rye, restoring it to its rightful place. I don't think it says where it's from. Distilled in the Indiana heartland. Okay. All right, so Indiana. All right, interesting. That is pretty good. I'm looking forward to that review. I'm not sure what I'll ultimately rate it, though. It is certainly not a like a stock it. I think it's probably going to be a buy it. I think I like that a lot, but I want to sit with it and let it kind of breathe a little bit and like it. What is MGP? Oh, is that I'm gonna have to look into that. Damn it, that's no fun. Hey, Whiskey in the Six is showing up. I'm guessing you're all set up for your live stream. You're just kind of killing some time. Nervously awaiting. This is interesting, huh? This has been a interesting day. Who's on their third coffee? Yeah, actually, let me think. 1, 2. No, I only had 2 coffees today, but my second one was at like 4 p.m. All right, so I am getting along in time right now. It's 10:44. Before I bust out the surprise boy, Swami, you want me to drink some Bookers? All right, who wants me to drink some Bookers? By show of hands, let's light up the chat here. If let's all right, hold on, wait, before you guys answer, and I'm sure that you're already answering. If you want me to drink Bookers, say Bill's the man. If you don't want me to, no, say Booker Bill. If you don't want me to drink Bookers, say Swami sucks. See, now you have influence on both sides for what you actually want to say. How does it compare with Bullet? Not even remotely a comparison. They're completely different. Like I said, the normal rye whiskeys have that like spice to it. That didn't really have any spice to it. So anyway, all right. So Booker Bill. Nobody's saying Swami sucks. I'm a little sad. Booker Bill. Oh, you guys. All right. It's off screen as it always is. All right. So I've got some water here. Probably going to make a mess. One Swami sucks. All right. Let me pour some water in here and make a mess. I knew that was going to happen. That's all right. I'm just going to kind of clear out this glass a little bit because, like I said, I'm running out. I should probably drink some water anyway. All right. Still haven't been able to get my hands on the damn 2018-01. It's like nowhere in my area. Does anybody know anybody at Booker's, at Jim Beam, that can like put my name out there and be like, hey, look at what this guy does. He talks about your product constantly. Send him some bottles. Anyway, all right. So for those who are uninitiated, Booker's is a drink that is, this one in particular, probably 129, yep, 125.9 proof. So it is very high in alcohol. I tend to drink it almost every single... No thanks, Swami. Not going to show that one, buddy. Tend to drink it every single live stream because people always want me to. I am pouring a small dram here because I do really want to get to that other one there. This one is the 2017-03, which was a particularly bad dram, and that's part of the reason it's still here and why I still have it. Oh geez, I never moved my laptop back. Sorry guys, like that was taking up the whole screen this entire time. Not that you guys care, but this is what it was supposed to look like. Oh well, from the bottle. Oh, Scotch test dummies. Well, I'm not gonna pour it back in. But you know what? This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to save that dram for Whiskey in the Sixes live stream. And for the fans, will drink some Bookers from the bottle. So, Swami, this one's for you, buddy, because you're going to hit 1,000 in like the next month or so. If anybody is watching this in the future and isn't subscribed to Malted in Montreal, go check his numbers. If he's not above 1,000, go subscribe, even if it's temporary. The dude just wants to hit 1,000 so he can like start getting all the YouTube perks. And I don't blame him. It's frustrating to be in that position. Anyway, here we go, gentlemen. To you, Swami, and Scott, I suppose, you bastard. Cheers. Oh yeah. Man, I'm like immune to the burn of Bookers at this point. Love it. Damn it, Swami, stop it. You drank too much tonight, I think. All right. So, here we go. Let's talk about this little guy right here. So, I'm going to bust out this little guy. So, I was sent this decanter a long time ago. I don't remember what the name of the company was. I have a video on it. I will genuinely say that I really like this decanter. It looks really cool. There is a boat in there. I'm not trying to sell you on it, but if you are in the market for a decanter and want one that looks cool, I kind of recommend this one. I mean, they didn't pay me or anything. They basically just sent me a free product and asked me to talk about it. So I don't owe them anything. They don't owe me anything. But I do genuinely think this is a cool looking decanter. So up to you. All right. So as I mentioned, this is a blend. And for those of you, I did see a couple of you guessed it properly. This is a blend of all of these whiskeys aside from the Bookers. I blended all of these whiskeys in almost equal parts because why the hell not? I have no idea what it's going to taste like, but this is a day about world whiskey, and what better metaphor could there be for earthly harmony than mixing whiskeys from all across the world and pouring it into a glass and probably having it taste terrible. But when we all work together, we can come together in harmony. Namaste. All that shit. I don't know. All right, so there we go. That's a big old dram. I will not be drinking this whole thing most likely unless it's delicious, in which case I call dibs on this blend, and I'll be reaching out to Compass Box about this guy. All right, Bill's Blend. Yes, we shall call it Bill's Blend. I love it. It appears to be a I'm not going to give a friggin' rating on this. It is pretty dark considering. I'd say it's roughly, yeah, I think it's about even with the Paul, what is it? Sorry, Paul John. I always want to call it John Paul. Anyway, all right, so it's about even with the Paul John. Got about 10 minutes left. So I'm going to nose this. I'm going to do the giveaway. I'm going to taste it, and then it'll probably be about time for Six's show. All right. Yeah, I know. Actually, I really wanted to do a episode on Infinity bottles for the right around the time that Marvel released their Infinity War thing. I even had it on my calendar, and I just never got to it. So anyway, all right. Let me nose this, and who knows? Whatever. All right. Oh God. I'm gonna tell you, this is a jerk. It smells like this. Like this is what it smells like, and it just took over the nose. It's not good. All right, so it's got a very mapley nose to it. It burns with the strength of a Knob Creek, the 100 proof. Oh man, if you get a bad whiff of that, it just like it tears up your nose in there. All right, no hint of the rye, a little hint of the Paul John. Nothing of the Glenlivet, nothing of the Glendalough, nothing of the Toki. There's no smoke. It just truly is just overpowered by the copper pot. All right, so I'm gonna let that sit for just one more minute. I'm gonna ask the all-important question. So this is a two-part answer. All right, I'm trying to think of how to phrase this. So the winner, whoever guesses this one first, according to my chat, will get their choice of either a custom Glencairn or a t-shirt, whatever you'd like. I will reach out to you just somehow, or we'll talk after you win. All right. Dump it and drink a Booker's. All right. I love this. This chat is very entertaining tonight. You guys are great. All right. So here's the question. And like I said, two-part answer. So it's going to be a kind of a Boolean answer. It's going to be either one thing or another. And then the second part is going to be an individual number. All right. So which area has more active distilleries, Japan or Islay? And the second part of the question is how many active distilleries are there? I'm just going to revel in this question. I like this question. I thought this was pretty good researching this. When I found out the answer, I was a little surprised. All right, so Ryan has the right format, but the wrong answer. So far, all of you have the wrong answer. Oh, good. I'm glad this was hard. Some of you guys are like savants. I was straight up waiting for one of you to just be like, oh yeah, no, there's no problem. It's just blah, 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 blah. So, all right. I don't even want to nose this again. It's terrible. This has made me realize that the nose on this is really bad. Ooh, close. So I will say that my answer is coming specifically from, I corroborated this between two separate websites, so I think that the answer is correct. So one way or another, whether my answer is, I know this kind of sounds a little stupid, but whether my answer is accurate or not, I'm going to go with the answer that I can prove via like internet. Nobody's gotten it yet. A couple people are extremely close. I'm not drinking it until somebody gets the answer right. Well, that might not be true. You guys keep answering, actually. I will totally drink this. All right, so bottoms up. I'm just going to give an overall cheers to the world. To the world of whiskey. Cheers. Mm. Mm. I know that my face is saying it's delicious, but oh man. Okay, I'm going to have to take another sip because I want to be able to describe saying roller coaster is very cliche, but truly it was, because there were ups and downs of that sip. Still nobody has it right. Just keep on guessing. I won't let you guys hang out there in the breeze for too long, though. I'll give you a hint. All right, enough people have had a chance to guess. I will tell you that the first part of the answer is Japan. Japan has more active distilleries than Islay. Gross. Oh, sorry, dude. It's like the way I'm sitting, like I'm like all hunched over the microphone. Grow some man shoulders, you bitch. Hate you. All right. Ryan, I appreciate the effort, but you're going the wrong way. Somebody's about to get it, I think. Oh, so here's the deal. So Ryan and Barry literally put it in at the exact same time, but Ryan came in first. So Ryan Shelley or Selly, even though you're whatever you are, and guessing individual numbers one by one, it worked in your favor. And technically you guessed before Barry. Barry, you already have a couple of glasses anyway, or at least one. I still owe you another glass. So Ryan, send me an email at thewhiskeydick@gmail.com. Prove somehow that you're who you are, and we'll talk. And I'll get you either a shirt or a glass. Now I'm curious, just for my own sake, what are you planning on getting? Either the glass or the shirt? Man, I wish I could like have you guys try this, because this is just, if somebody ever gave me a bottle of this, like I would almost try to share this with other people, because it's such an experience. Okay, so I've got 3 minutes left. Let me talk about this real quick. I actually didn't realize that I was running out of time so quickly. So two things. Number one, if you look in the description of my video right here, and don't tune away yet because there's still like a couple more minutes left. If you look in the description of my video, there is a link right over to Whiskey in the Sixes video. So I made it nice and easy for you. Just go ahead and click that. So let me talk about this guy right here. Oh man, it's so bad. All right. So does Booker's make it better? Booker's makes everything better. Booker's makes all the problems in the world go away. All right, so I'm going to try to talk you through this. You ready? All right, so it starts off sweet, like a Canadian, like a fake sweet. And then it moves directly into a rye, but the spicy kind of rye, which is odd because that doesn't exist here. Then you go to the kind of like a gross flavor that you get in a really, really young bourbon that just like should have aged longer and they didn't take the time to. And then, hold on, I'm doing this for you. Oh. And then you just have disappointment and a questioning of what you're doing with your life. No. Anyway, all right. So it's 10:59. I'm going to sign off. Thank you all for joining me here on the Whiskey Dictionary. I had a blast. Thank you to everybody who gave me a super chat tonight. And I hope you all enjoyed your World Whiskey Day. And go meet me over on Whiskey in the Sixes channel. I'll be in there in about a minute. I want to just catch the beginning, and then I'm going to pack up all this stuff. And I look forward to seeing you all there. So thank you again for joining, and I'll talk to you later.